5. The truth about the McCanles affair. That David C. McCanles' ardent Southern sympathies led him to appropriate horses for the Confederate cavalry seems infutable. It appears that he went to the Rock Creek station on the Overland Mail and Pony Express Company to get either Wild Bill's horse or the company's stock, that he had previously threatened Wild Bill with personal violence for his attentions at Sarah Shaw, and that his choleric temper made him a man apt to execute such threats. We come now to the events of July 12th, 1861. During the first few days of July, Wellman left the station. Tradition has it that he went to Nebraska City in attempts to secure funds to pay for McCanles for the property. But this is refuted by the testimony of the only living eyewitness of the shooting, Monroe McCanles, then a boy of 12. He has kept his peace about the tragedy for more than 60 years, and the writer had difficulty in inducing him to discuss the affair. But at last he recounted the history of that fatal day as follows. Wellman went not to Nebraska City, but to Brownville, and solely to get some supplies. Monroe McCanles accompanied him on his journey. They returned on the afternoon of July 12th, and soon after their arrival, Bill McCanles met his father near the station. With him were James Woods and James Gordon. These two walked toward the barn in which the horses were kept, while David McCanles and his son walked toward the house, in which were Wild Bill, Mr. and Mrs. Wellman, and Sarah Kelson, the servant. According to Monroe McCanles, while Wellman was away at the Brownsville, Mrs. Wellman and his father had a quarrel. Just as what it was about, no one ever knew. In his opinion, this difficulty had more to do with the tragedy than anything else. David C. McCanles, accompanied by his son Monroe, walked into the kitchen door and asked Wellman. It is Monroe McCanles' recollection that Mrs. Wellman came to the door, and that his father asked if Wellman were in the house. Mrs. Wellman replied that he was, and McCanles asked if he could come out. Mrs. Wellman then demanded to know what he wanted of her husband. "I want to settle with him," McCanles replied to this. Mrs. Wellman stated that her husband would not come out. "Send him out now, or I'll come in and drag him out," McCanles reported. Wild Bill now stepped to the door, and McCanles looked at him in the face and remarked, "Jim, we've been friends all the time, haven't we?" "Yes," said Wild Bill. "Are we friends now?" McCanles went on. "Yes," said Wild Bill. "Will you hand me a drink?" Wild Bill turned, and a moment later reappeared with a dipper of water. McCanles drank, and as if he had handed the dipper back, he started, having apparently seen something that threatened danger. An instant later, the report of Wild Bill's rifle sounded, and McCanles fell dead. Woods and Gordon ran up, and were also shot to death. This version of the tragedy, as given by Monroe McCanles, whose only living eyewitness, provides no reasonable motive for the killing of McCanles, or Woods, or Gordon, as it is explicative that neither Mr. or Mrs. Wellman nor Wild Bill should, after McCanles was shot, suddenly develop a frenzied desire to kill Woods and Gordon, with whom they had no apparent quarrel. Monroe McCanles states that a week later there was a preliminary hearing in which all cases were acquitted. Asked for a statement of what happened at the trial, he replied, "Jim Hickok, Horace Wellman, and Doc Brink made their defense before Justice Albert Towle and McCanles when his gang had come to take the stage stock, and that the battle was over of horses. They had been preponderant of evidence. I was the only witness, but not called to testify.